hot summers, cool winters, and plenty of rain. You could live in a place like this, right? Well, millions would agree with you, because out of all the climate zones on Earth, this is the one with the largest number of highly developed world cities. It's the only climate zone on every inhabited continent on Earth, and you've probably never heard or thought of it until now. It has been dubbed the China type, the Natal type, the Southern US type, or the warm temperate eastern margin. But in this series, we'll call it the Humid Subtropical. In our journey from the equator to the poles in this series, it is now time to review the temperate band, where we find most of the developed world. The climate zone in this band nearest the equator lies on the eastern boundaries of all the major continents, between about 20 and 40 degrees latitude, and is called by most climatologists the humid subtropical. What defines this climate is the generous presence of rain and a hot and humid summer, where temperatures approach that of the tropics. But to distinguish it from such tropical zones, it has a cool winter where temperatures typically drop to between 0 and 10 degrees Celsius. This seasonal variation is due to the increased latitude compared to the tropics. In summer, the sun is close to overhead at noon, whereas in winter it is much closer to the horizon, and so sunlight strikes the Earth at an angle, spreading its heat over a wider area and diluting its power. There are two subdivisions of this climate within the Koppen climate classification, both of which share the seasonal variation in temperature just described, and differing only by rainfall pattern. The first and most geographically widespread is CFA, which experiences rain all year round. The second, CWA, has rain mostly or only during the summer, and because of this similarity to the tropical monsoon, this is known as the subtropical monsoon, owing to its cooler winter temperatures when compared to its tropical cousin. Now, those of you paying attention in the last episode on hot deserts may be saying, wait a minute, that band just above the tropics should be desert due to the descending columns of air originating from the tropical uplift, or something similar. So why on the eastern edges of the continents at these latitudes do we get a wet climate instead of a desert? Well, as usual in weather and climate, the full explanation is complex, but a simpler answer is that the oceans on the eastern fringes of the continents have warm water compared to the western fringes, which have cold water due to ocean current circulation. Warm ocean means lots of moist air above it, and this is pushed onto the land by the high pressure ridge that is concentrated to the east of each continent. When the warm, moist air goes over land, it releases its moisture as rain. By contrast, the deserts at the same latitudes have air moving over cold water onto land, which at best produces fog, or no wind at all, due to high pressure directly above them. So where in the world do we find the humid subtropical climate? Well, the short answer is on every continent excluding Antarctica, and it's the only climate type to claim such an accolade. Starting as we do in the Western Hemisphere and moving eastward, we first encounter this climate in the southeastern United States, where it covers almost a quarter of the entire country. From Missouri down to Texas in the west, across all the southern states out to the eastern seaboard, where it extends north all the way to New York City in the north, and to all but the southern coast of Florida in the south. Further south on this continent, in Mexico, there are two bands of the monsoonal variation lying on each side of the Central Highlands. In South America, we find another large stretch of the middle eastern part of this continent dominated by the humid subtropical. From southeastern Brazil, including its largest city, Sao Paulo, this region extends out to encompass most of Paraguay, all of Uruguay, and the most populated regions of northeastern Argentina, including its capital Buenos Aires. With this climate, we see our first entry into the continent of Europe. Specifically in the northern and eastern parts of Italy, sheltered around the Alps to the north, and to the Apennine Mountains of the south, we have humid summers and cool winters instead of the Mediterranean climate that otherwise dominates the larger region. More on that one in the next episode. Pockets of this climate type also occur further east in the Balkans, along with some of the coasts of the Black Sea. In Africa, we find a band across the southern part of the continent under the influence of the CWA monsoon variant of this climate, whilst in the extreme southeast in the KwaZulu-Natal region of South Africa, we get the all-year-round rain of the CFA type. In Asia, the CWA monsoonal variant dominates a large stretch of northern India, including the capital of Delhi and most of the heavily populated Ganges River system. This band of the subtropical monsoon extends eastward into northern Vietnam and southern and mid-China, including the hugely populated Pearl River Delta, with cities such as Guangzhou, Shenzhen, Macau, and Hong Kong. The CFA year-round rain variant in Asia occurs over a wider area in the main part of central and eastern China, including a host of large cities such as the megacity of Shanghai. Moving off the coast of that continent, and we have the whole of Taiwan and the southern and eastern parts of Japan that form the major population centers of that nation, including the world's largest urban area of Tokyo, that nation's capital. The last continent which has the humid subtropical climate is Australia, specifically the central eastern coast, including the cities of Brisbane and that nation's largest city, Sydney. Despite its dispersal across all continents of the globe, the humid subtropical climate is proven as a particular and consistent type by comparing temperature and rainfall graphs across each of these areas. So what kind of landscapes and vegetation do we find in the humid subtropical climate? Low-lying plains are the most common type of topography in this climate zone, and in their natural state, such plains would be covered by either mixed woodland or grassland. Being a temperate climate, this is the first that we see with 4 distinct seasons, easily defined by the deciduous trees that mark this zone, whether in their natural habitat or included within the various cities here. Blossom in spring, green leaves in summer, the yellow and red falling leaves of autumn, and bare in winter. Because this moderate climate favours a diverse array of crops, however, most of it has given way to agriculture: rice, nuts, wheat, ranching, cotton, tobacco, depending upon the region. With its relatively mild temperatures and plentiful rain supporting so much agriculture, high populations can be supported, especially in the rice-growing regions of China and India, meaning that this climate zone is home to more people than any other. And being in one of the cities of the humid subtropical, under more tolerable conditions compared to the tropics, allows for large and sophisticated cities to develop on every continent, again more than any other climate type. And here's just a sample of them. So that's it for the humid subtropical climate zone. It might not be as exotic as others we've covered so far, yet its importance in terms of populations and cities across such a wide stretch of the globe cannot be overstated. If you enjoyed the video, please share with your friends, and don't forget to subscribe to this YouTube channel so you don't miss future episodes. You can also help supporting the making of these documentaries by subscribing to my Patreon channel, a link which can be found in the video's accompanying text. And do leave some comments, particularly if you live or have lived in one of the many cities of the humid subtropical climate. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next episode, where we'll be heading for the summer sun of the Mediterranean climate zones. Until then, bye for now.